Amy Riley here from The Courage of a Leader. And today I'm sharing with you secret number three. Secret number three to strategically strengthen your culture in a hybrid world. This secret is reinvent business and people processes through the lens of inclusion. That's a lot of words. Let's talk about what it means. So we've all heard of DE&I, diversity, equity, inclusion. Many experts in that field are now talking about DEI and B, and the B stands for belonging. How do you foster a true sense of belonging for each of the individuals on your team in your organization? I'm going to share with you some powerful ways to consider fostering belonging in your organization, and then invite you to consider which ones will make the biggest difference and truly create that sense of belonging for the individuals on your team. Right, so one of the ways is to focus on team members as individuals. Acknowledge the unique value that they provide. Be aware of that. And then tell employees when you're reviewing performance, when you're having your touch bases or your one-on-ones, hey, we really rely on you, is what I'm trying to say, for this value that you provide, right? And you provide it in these projects and you provide it to these customer relationships. Let them know specifically how they contribute and why you value that. And be tuned into their interests, not only their personal interests, yet also their professional interests, right? Are they interested in continuous improvement or streamlining things or bringing innovation or bringing the voice of the customer to conversations? Invite that individual to participate in meetings, conversations, decision-making where they can do so. Communication style and preference is another area to focus on. You could have a formal process around DISC or Myers-Briggs or another style assessment so that everybody's getting an official report and understanding each other's communication approach preferences. You can also do a free online assessment that's out there. You could also just have the conversation. How do you like to communicate? Right? Do you prefer to pick up the phone? Do you prefer to talk on a video call? Do you prefer to type out an email or go back and forth in a Teams exchange? Right? Do you like to have a little bit of chit chat before we get down to business? Do you want to say, how are you doing? How was the weekend? Talk about that. Or are you someone who gets impatient with that? Right? Are you someone who talks at a high level, just give me the bottom line? Or are you someone that always likes to dig into the details? As a leader, make sure you understand that about each of your team members and have the team members understand that for each other, right? That creates a sense of belonging when we're including people and communicating with them in ways that work and make sense to them. Reinventing processes to hear more voices, to hear more perspectives. This might mean taking a poll that's anonymous so that everybody feels like they can weigh in on this controversial topic, or just this topic where there's a lot of different views, or we might not know what all the views are. I mean, put a poll or a "we want your perspective" question out on the internet or on MS Teams. Invite a cross-section of employees to answer and respond. You can rotate roles in meaningful ways. Right, and have somebody go and shadow or work in another group for a day, a week, a month, right? Rotate people in meaningful ways. I've seen some clients have a lot of impact with having department liaisons, right? So my department sends a liaison over to another department to attend their staff meetings, to understand what's going on over there, understand the decisions they're making, and bring that back to my department. Yet for this truly to work and be valuable long-term, that liaison needs to have a voice in that other department. And the liaisons that come to you need to have a voice, right? How can you include them in the work? How can you always include their perspective in the decision making? So it's a true win-win, right? You're getting the information about what's going on in another area of the organization, and you're able to contribute in meaningful ways to their work as well. As a leader, consider what voices are you hearing and not hearing on a regular basis. So when do you hear them? What situations or what topics do you not hear them? Right? And make sure that you find ways to include people and their voices in a way that works for them. You may just ask them, right? We want to get your perspective on these kinds of things, right? Or we would love to have you weigh in on these kinds of matters, right? What's the best way to have you do that? What works for you, right? And then include people in those ways, right? So how do you foster a sense of belonging in your team, in your organization, based on the individuals, right? How do you reinvent business and people process through the lens of inclusion? Keep following The Courage of a Leader on social media to make sure that you get all 5 of the secrets to strategically strengthen your culture.